Everybody, welcome to a beautiful winter's day here on the Cromford Canal. I'm at Ironville, and last time I finished the Pinxton branch where I came out of the junction where the bridges had asked you whether I should go left or right. One way towards Butterley and the other way towards Langley Mill. And here I am, the Pinxton branch down that way. I came up this way and we ended up right here on this absolutely stunning bridge. We've got Codnor Reservoir over there. That's looking absolutely stunning, isn't it? Lots of wildfowl on there. And that reservoir in 1985 was lowered by 1.8 metres as part of a flood prevention scheme. Sadly though, it also swallowed part of the canal. And that's the way we're going. We're going to follow the route all the way past Codnor Park. Then we're going to hit Butterley Tunnel. That's got quite a history and could be one of the main factors why this canal may or may not be restored in the future. This photograph, look, beautiful, isn't it? It shows us the line of the canal on the left hand side and the reservoir on the right, taken in the mid 1970s. I think I prefer it this way, don't you? And at the junction of the Pinxton Arm, you can see the bridge I've just been stood on. There used to be a cottage on the right hand side. This was for payment of tolls between the canals, but this sadly fell into disrepair and was soon demolished. Wouldn't it be amazing if this could be rebuilt again? So a quick look at maps. I can take this one off railmaponline.com. The Pinxton Arm is the green line going off on top right and the junction at Ironville just here. We're picking up at Codnor Park and we're going to follow it around to Golden Valley. This is where Butterley Tunnel appears, the portal on the eastern side, but of course we can't go through it, but we can follow the majority of the course of the tunnel right the way through to the other side where it meets the A38 just beyond Butterley Reservoir. The A38 did in fact cross over where the western portal of the tunnel was, and we'll pick up the tunnel and follow the last section around towards Hartshay Wharf where there used to be a rail connection to the canal. A quick look at this overhead image. That is Codnor Reservoir bang in the centre. The Pinxton Arm came from up here and the junction is down here where the bridge is and where the toll was. And we're going to be pushing along towards Butterley Tunnel in this direction. But I can change you to exactly the same location and a map from the early 1900s. Everything in the same place. Note there was some railways back then at the top and at the bottom, and also the towpath of the Cromford Canal. And at this point, look, you can see where the route of the canal is. It's got some flowing water going through it, look. Been quite a bit of heavy rain. We just had Storm Bert a couple of days ago at the weekend. But just up there, that's where it ends. And it gets devoured by Codnor Reservoir. Beyond Butterley Tunnel, it's off towards Sawmills, got the excavator put there, and I'm going to try and involve some railway history as we go along the route. There's not enough continuous railway to actually follow to make separate videos, so I'm just going to chuck it in as I find it, and then we'll finish off around about Ambergate, somewhere just there. So, this is Codnor Reservoir. Let's follow the Cromford Canal. It's beautiful, isn't it? The trees are bare, a few seagulls on the water. Canal was around about here. We stood on a kind of a footbridge and a dam with a weir, and the canal back towards Jacksdale and Langley Mill over there. At this point the reservoir is narrowing off, look, and we're gonna meet up with the canal again. I think it's just somewhere over behind them bushes, and through there it should present itself. So over another footbridge like the first one, look, and the reservoir over there. Now we get a glimpse of the canal again, look, just there. There we go, look at that. So colourful today as well, isn't it? Some ducks down there. Absolutely beautiful. There's a bit of a makeshift dam just there, look. Water's still flowing through. Wonder what purpose that actually serves, if anybody knows. Whether it used to dam it off a little bit, but no, it's just been broken through and left to flow. Now the canal is beginning to shallow, plenty of reeds around, and we are coming to the end of the walkable section, but only for now. It's because that's the 2,801 metre length Butterley Tunnel. That is just over there. We've got to cross the road and dip down the other side. Believe it or not, this tunnel has been closed for 125 years. 1899, due to collapses and subsidence, I believe. That's going to be a tricky thing to actually sort out, isn't it, if they want to open this canal again. So look, you can see the watercourse is going to disappear. Still quite a flow coming out. I believe there is a kind of a cascade beside the tunnel as well. These archways are rather quaint, aren't they? I like those. And crossing over Newlands Road, come back down the other side, and our canal towpath momentarily picks up down there. There it is, look. So where the water was flowing out earlier, look, that's where it's dropping down, and the canal runs for probably 100 metres or so. I can definitely see that cascade in full flow beside where Butterley Tunnel portal is. This map shows you where I've just come from. So Codnor Reservoir is over here on the right hand side, and we've got Coach Road following the canal, and we've hit Newlands Road. Newlands Inn Station is for the Golden Valley Light Railway, and you can see the canal just above it before it comes to an abrupt end, and that is the portal of our Butterley Tunnel. We're going to take a good look at that now before venturing over the top and trying to find the other end on the western side. This old map again from the early 1900s shows us exactly the same location. You can see the cutting of the canal down here, and Newlands Road is just here, and the portal of the tunnel right there, look, below where it says Butterley Park Reservoir. There were 3 reservoirs used to supply water to the canal, and this was the intermediate one, with Codnor at the beginning of our walk, and we'll see Butterley Reservoir a little bit later on. And there it is, look, there's our Butterley Tunnel portal. Zoom you in a little bit, 2,801 metres in length. There's the cascade I was on about, shooting up there, look, coming down from the top. Get you a bit close to that, I think. There we are again, so numerous collapses in there, I believe, dating back to the late 1800s. I believe there's sections of that tunnel that actually opens up inside, and there's passing places too, and places to actually store goods. Now the cascade on the right hand side, that is a water supply from the drained and disused Butterley Park Reservoir. It really puts into perspective the size of the tunnel portal, doesn't it? It looks very, very small down on the left hand side. A closer look at the portal, you can see that there's been a barrier put in, which is round about way above water's level, but it also makes the portal look like a small arched culvert. But from the inside looking out, you can see there is a barrier put in place with iron bars above, or steel bars. Now it is silted up, so that dam, if you want to call it, is above the water's level. However, water can be situated on both sides of this portal into the tunnel itself when there's been a lot of rain. This is a lovely image showing what it did look like back when it was open. Look, we've even got a nice cascade bringing water in from the reservoirs to supply the canal. This is what it looks like from the inside. Look, I believe these images were taken in 1979, so a very, very long time ago. And within the tunnel was Butterley Wharf, or known as the Wide Hall, a unique underground wharf complex located directly beneath Butterley Ironworks. Vertical 30-metre shafts directly linked the canal tunnel and wharves with the ironworks high above. Hoists at the ironworks raised and lowered materials and finished products through these shafts, allowing them to be transferred from the canal directly to and from the ironworks' internal railway system. But sadly it does feel as if Butterley Tunnel will forevermore be a permanent obstruction to the reopening and restoration of the full length of the Cromford Canal. I will come back very soon to have a look at this area in greater detail, because there was plenty to look at from what I could tell on maps. We need to follow this water course because I think the water is probably coming from Butterley Reservoir, as well as in the past coming from Butterley Park Reservoir. And also I would like to have a look around Butterley Park Reservoir too and see if anything remains. I'm not going to attempt to get any closer because you can't tell where the weeds and the shrubs actually stop and the sudden drop down to the cascade actually begins. And there's some of the track work there, look, for the Golden Valley Light Railway. The terminus is right where I'm stood, and it goes on towards the Midland Railway. I wonder how often, or if ever, they go in there and inspect any of that. There's a padlock on the gate. You also have to admire the amount of stonework, the wall that's holding that embankment up. But I'm hoping to see the other tunnel portal once we've crossed over the top. We've got a long way to go, but we're going to see what else we can see. I think there's a couple of railway nuggets we could pick up en route to the other side of Butterley Tunnel, and maybe even something to do with the tunnel itself. So now I need to backtrack just a little way back to Newlands Road and pick up Coach Road and follow that off towards Sawmills over the course of Butterley Tunnel. Walking along Old Coach Road now and following the line of the tunnel, not long over there. I'm hoping we get to see evidence of any of the shafts, because there were shafts for this tunnel for construction, and it's quite possible these may be poking above ground. I'm not entirely sure. I need to keep an eye out up here somewhere for an old railway bridge that was part of the former Midland Railway, a branch that came down from Ripley and passed below Coach Road, and I believe it served a colliery or two, including Butterley Farm. Look at that for an old street light on the telegraph pole. It hasn't got a bulb in it, sadly. There's the road to the Midland Railway Centre just there. Still on Coach Road. At this point, if we look behind, the line of the tunnel has come across. We've passed over Butterley Tunnel, and for now, and I believe the rest of Coach Road, it stays just to the left. There we go, look, the first shaft on that farm still standing. And get you in closer and closer still. That looks absolutely fine, doesn't it? I'm assuming it's got some sort of guard on top of it. I think there's like a bracket on the left hand side you can see, but I've got to assume that if you were to stand above it, you would indeed be able to shine a light down it and see the canal at the very bottom. That was really good seeing that shaft, wasn't it? I don't think it's very far until we get to the other one. I wasn't going to fly the drone over that because of all the farming equipment. It was right next to the farmhouse too. If I can with the next one, or maybe the one after, I'll give it a go. We've passed shaft number 2 without being able to see it. It appears to be in the garden or the grounds of that property that you've just seen. As I've looked on maps, looks like that one is impassable to get to, so again, I'm not flying the drone into someone's garden. Maybe the third one will do us better. Having said that, with that farmhouse and the second shaft on the right, the road curves around, and it is at this point that the canal now goes on our right, along with the tunnel. And Coach Road does appear to have a bit of a hump coming up. This could indicate this is where the Midland Railway passed below. We've got a wall of an old railway bridge. This is that Midland Railway line that I mentioned near the beginning of the video. Let's have a look over the top, see if we can see anything. Looks to be extremely overgrown down there, doesn't it? So probably not going to be getting down there. There's another section of that wall, look, just there. On the other side, the wall is also still present, look. Coping stones on top. A quick look at railmaponline.com. We are stood just here. The Midland Railway's branch going underneath Coach Road. This has come from Ripley over in this direction, and there's various collieries, ironworks and other factories and forges that were once all around. The Midland Railway Butterley is that yellow line going from left to right. And look, there's an old permanent way hut down there. Track bed's still completely overgrown. You can just make out the bridge arch down there, look. But that's an interesting little find, isn't it? I've come off Old Coach Road momentarily because I believe those trees over there, the third shaft is situated. But I'm on a proper footpath. I'm going to try and advance over that way carefully. It means the actual tunnel is pretty much just below that ground there. Coach Road is where that cottage is on the corner. If I tread carefully, I think we could get over there. I think I can see it. Look at that, right now we're above the Butterley Tunnel on the Cromford Canal. And the third shaft, how about that? That's something else, isn't it? This is quite something else, isn't it, to see this? Got that iron guard on top, look. It's like two separate pieces that have been closed together, like a cup that's just closed together. And it looks bigger than the first one, doesn't it? Maybe it is, just a little bit. To think what we are stood above right now. Absolutely extraordinary. Right, that's the Derbyshire police headquarters behind me. The tunnel was also just behind me, about where that little grassed area is just there. Another old lamppost, look at that. Look at that ornate curve to the top where the lamp would have just hung over and onto the road. I've not been to the Midland Railway for many years. I bet like a video, a heritage line would be really good, wouldn't it? Like even a behind the scenes one would be absolutely fantastic to do. Following the line and the day-to-day operations. Look at all that, just gone, hasn't it? Absolutely astounding what this must have looked like. All the old Butterley works. Look at that huge retaining wall on the left-hand side. Look at this huge retaining wall on this side. Something that looks like a little hole or a tunnel over there, look. Can you see that? Let's go a bit closer. Well, it's all been bricked up, whatever it was. You look into the back, look, it's just a stone wall, but it's not the original stone. Red brick arch. I'm going to have a look, see if I can find anything about this. Look at that. Look at that building there. That's got some stories to tell, hasn't it? Multiple different extensions been added on there, look. So leaving the Butterley works behind, I now have to follow a bit of the Butterley Reservoir, which is to my right, and we're also kind of back with the course of the tunnel. It's pretty much just about here. There it is, it's looking rather resplendent, isn't it? You see over there, that's the dam wall, and that carries the Midland Railway Centre. I've not long talked about Butterley Station being just over there, and the line comes across, and I think we're going to intercept it at some point at the other end. William Jessup, he built 3 reservoirs to help keep the canal in water, and there was Codnor, Butterley Park, and this one at Butterley, and this was in fact the largest of the 3 reservoirs that supplied water to the Cromford Canal. And today, as per Codnor that we saw earlier, they're beautiful havens for wildlife and also fishing. I'm on this kind of dam, look, there's a weir going over, and just there, look, you can see the signal box for the Midland Railway. I think we're going to get quite close to the track work in a moment. So I'm just going to head back up this way, and I believe there's a path going over there. This is Hammersmith Station, the end of the line for the Midland Railway Centre. If you remember, if you watched the previous video on the Cromford Canal that I did on the Pinxton branch, we pass below the Midland Railway Centre at the other end. A quick look at where we are. So Butterley Reservoir right slap bang on the right hand side, Butterley Station on the right of that, and on the left hand side Hammersmith Station, where we've just been looking at. And then we've got the A38 darting from top to bottom, and the construction of this road actually extended Butterley Tunnel by around about 20 feet. So when we get to the Western Portal, fortunately we will not see the original brickwork. The station does look a little tired, doesn't it? But the tracks look like they are used probably at weekends at the moment. Station sign there. It's a shame that the road had to intercept, isn't it, over there, the A38, or the line could have gone even further. At the end of here is the A38. The track has almost disappeared to my left from the railway. We've got to cross over this and then not be long before we pick up the canal again and the other portal of the tunnel. So now I've passed below the A38, that's up there, noisy traffic, and I'm following another footpath which I'm hoping and believe is going to take us straight to the other portal of Butterley Tunnel. Butterley Reservoir on the top right hand side, you've got the A38 coming from top down to bottom. Our canal and tunnel portal is just down here. Now when the road was built, as I said previously, it was extended by around about 20 feet. Let's have a look at the map in exactly the same place from back then, and the tunnel portal right there. Look, you can see there was a railway line coming from Butterley Junction, part of the Midland Railway, just slightly to the side of where the A38 is today. Okay, so clearly you can see that is not the original portal, but it's been culverted off, and it would have been put in place when the A38 was built and constructed. So canal bed, it is in water. It's probably not as deep as it needs to be, and I imagine just through there, a short distance away, is the original portal to the tunnel. I mean, I think if you had a kayak or some, I don't know how deep that would be. That looks deeper than waders, to be fair. You could shine a torch in there and have a look. There is a padlock just there, so that means that that gate can be opened for inspections. Thankfully, we've got a photograph of the Western Portal. Look at that high retaining wall above it, coming down at a sloped angle, and some sort of bricked hut on the left-hand side. So directly above that is where the extension for the A38 construction would be. And this is what that short extension looks like. It's a corrugated steel and much less attractive construction, isn't it? Old railway sleeper over there just opposite. Of course, there was a lot of railways around here too. And hopefully we'll find a few more nuggets of the old railways around here, which were pretty much all the Midland Railway. Okay, that is Butterley Tunnel complete. There it is. I dread to think what it looks like on the inside. This is what I've got going forward. We're going to be able to follow the canal towpath, I believe. If we take the path down here, you can see the water just down there, look. Let's see how far we could go. Because looking at maps, it looks like the next half mile or so is in water, just like this, what we've been looking at. I've got to try and get through that. Just hope there's no dangly things. Keep my mouth mostly shut, and there we go. So look, plenty of water, and tunnels down there. It would have been pointless attempting to put the drone up to that tunnel mouth as I did at the other end, because there's just too many bushes and trees around. I wouldn't have got any closer to it than I did. But it wasn't the original portal, was it? So you'd just been looking at a concrete opening. Incidentally, I've never walked down here before. This is all completely new, this section. So let's enjoy it together. Substantially high pipe work up there, isn't there? Probably water, being that thin. Blue brick supports on both sides. So up here, the canal is going to come to an end again, and it's culverted under the A610. Now, just to my right up there, that is a former track bed again, and it goes off towards Hartshay Wharf, which is just on the other side of the A610 over there. Look behind us, though. That looks lovely, doesn't it? That's probably one of the best sights I've seen this morning. It's just so wintry and autumnal all at the same time. There we go, look, so you've got to imagine there is an opening below that water level. Water is flowing, look, coming down the canal bed just there. What I can hear is, oh my word, look at that staircase. Look at those steps going up there. Blimey. Oh, that's daunting, isn't it? What I can hear is water flowing. Look down here, what we got here? Core. So there's a bit of a torrent going through there, isn't there? Coming down there. The old railway track bed I just mentioned is there. And you can see the A610 also severed that. Blimey, look at that. Blimey. Right. I better go and tackle this. Or shall we just... Hang on, I'm just going to pop over here first. It looks like other people have walked over here, so I'm going to as well. Let's just stand on that track bed. There's that water again just there. If I pop through here, there it is, look. So there we go, it come across there. That bit seems to have been fenced off for some reason, but then we stood on it again. It went for probably about another 30-40 metres up there. And that's where it terminated, at Hartshay Wharf, right where I'm hoping to see the canal again. Right, I can't put it off. I better get up to the top. And back down. A similar length of flight down to the other side again. There we go, back with the canal. This was Hartshay Wharf. Just got to say, there's something in that garden without being too nosy. It's like a concrete flat foundation. I wonder if that had anything to do with the wharf. And the railway was here too. So Hartshay Wharf was served by the Midland Railway and worked hand in hand with the Cromford Canal. A single track came in and separated into two just here, where there was also a short arm for narrowboats to be used to load and unload goods. If we jump over to this map in exactly the same place, obviously the A610 is not there, but we can see the canal and we can see the railway coming in, splitting into two. You can zoom in even more, you can see this little bit just here, look. It's like the shape of a baseball bat. Well, this is that short arm that come off and sat alongside one of the railway sidings for loading and unloading. And we can turn to this photograph, look. Fantastic, isn't it? You've got the railway track right next to that short stub of the Cromford Canal, and in the background you can see the Midland Railway wagons on the second siding that also served Hartshay Wharf. And right now, I'm stood in the bottom of the Cromford Canal. Look at that. How amazing is that? I did not expect that. But I'm not where I just left you at Hartshay Wharf. No, I'm a little bit further up. If you want to see what this is all about, make sure you join me in the next part as we head off towards Sawmills and also Ambergate, where there's a lot of railway and canal history to find. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye for now.